Madam Speaker, question B395, please.
Madam Speaker, I thank the Honourable Member for this question. In fact, a series of tax exemptions has been granted to the promoters under the Smart City Scheme since its introduction on the 18th of June 2015. The main ones include exemption from VAT on buildings and infrastructure, 8-year income tax holiday on income derived from real estate activities within the smart city, exemption from customs duty on import of machinery and materials for construction of buildings, exemption from registration duty and land transfer tax on the transfer of land into a smart city company, exemption from Moselmo fee, and exemption from land conversion tax for developments other than residential on land in the smart city. The House will recall, Madam Speaker, in my reply to PQB 130 on the 18th of March of this year, I informed the House that the total amount of exemptions granted since the introduction of the Smart City Scheme is around 6.61 billion rupees. Madam Speaker, in the context of the forthcoming budget exercise and taking into account the state of the economy, the Ministry of Finance is carrying out an analysis of various schemes to determine their effectiveness and the impact on public finances. The waiving off of any tax exemptions granted to companies under this scheme would also be closely examined.
Thank you. Yes. Next question, Honourable First Member for Savannah and Black River.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. B396.
Madam Speaker, I'm informed that the Cotton Bay Hotel, which was constructed in 1991, had been operating with a capacity of 60 rooms. I'm also informed by the officer in charge of Airport Holdings Limited that on the 15th of March 2023, the board of Pointe Cotton Resort Hotel approved the renovation of the existing 60 rooms and the construction of 32 additional rooms, as well as upgrades to the public areas, back-of-house facilities, technical building, and associated external works and draining infrastructure. On that same day, the board of Pointe Cotton Resort Hotel Limited approved that the hotel renovation and extension project be undertaken at the revised estimate cost of 650 million rupees. That is excluding VAT. That was on the 15th of March. On the 12th of June, the contract for the refurbishment and extension works was awarded to Laxman Bai and Company Limited at the cost of 683 million rupees, 501,922 rupees, sorry, and 42 cents as well. So don't forget the cents. Again, that's exclusive of VAT. I must point out, Madam Speaker, that the letter of award was signed on behalf of Pointe Cotton Resort Hotel Limited by Mr. Ken Oyan, Director without board approval, signed without board approval. It was only 4 days later, that is on the 16th of June 2023, that the board of Pointe Cotton Resort Limited approved that the contract be awarded to Laxman Bai and Company Limited at the negotiated price, that is of 683,501,922 rupees and 42 cents. Again, exclusive of VAT. Worse, Madam Speaker, this letter of award of the 12th of June 2023 was ratified by the same board only on the 18th of September 2023. That is a bit more than 3 months later. Now, an additional amount of 28,321,006 rupees, exclusive of VAT, representing variation works incurred and brought the renovation project to now to 711,822,000 and 928 rupees, and again with 42 cents. So far, an amount of 650,715,715 rupees, exclusive of VAT, has already been paid to the contractor. Furthermore, from the period May 2023 to April 2024, contracts were awarded to 28 suppliers for the procurement of other components of the project, including furniture, kitchen, laundry equipment. You would have thought it's called money laundering equipment, as well as the purchase and installation of desalination plant at the total cost of 86,342,773 rupees and 63 cents. As at date, an amount of 78,128,965 cents has been disbursed to these contractors. I'm tabling the information with respect to these 28 suppliers. Madam Speaker, as if that was not enough, an additional sum of 15,962,062 rupees was disbursed by the company to these 22 service providers for communication, training, IT system, and insurance, among others. Again, I'm tabling this information. And I'm sure honorable members will be surprised and wait for it. A further amount of 83,918,643 rupees has been paid to 12 consultants, including Etwaru Associates Limited, and this information again is being tabled. Nothing to do with it. It's not written the same way. Madam Speaker, so we are faced with a project which was initially estimated at 650 million rupees, and which is now estimated to cost the taxpayer 1,024,956,038 rupees. This represents an increase of 58% of the original. This is a classic example of how projects were implemented under the previous regime. To date, an amount of 788,347,569 rupees, excluding VAT, has been paid to the contractor, the different service providers, and the consultants. Madam Speaker, in view of these really disturbing facts that have emerged from the way this project has been handled since its inception, a 58% increase, including the dubious procurement process, approval before the board approves. This matter is being referred to the Financial Crimes Commission for investigation.
Okay, Mr. Babbage. Yes, Honourable Third Member for Grand B, Boudredon.
Madame la Présidente, merci. Ma question 397, s'il vous plaît.
Je vous en prie.
Madam Speaker, the 2025 spring meetings of the IMF and the World Bank Group took place from the 21st to 26th of April in Washington. The Governor of the Bank of Mauritius, in his capacity as alternate governor, representing Mauritius on the Board of Governors of the IMF, participated in the spring meetings. I wish to inform the honourable member that government already had extensive and fruitful discussions with the IMF and the World Bank, with the IMF especially under this Article 4 consultation mission, the one Mauritius, just a few days before the holding of the 2025 spring meetings. After having taken cognizance of the economic and fiscal quagmire in which the previous government has left our country, the IMF stressed the urgency for fiscal consolidation and strengthening of the monetary policy framework in order to secure financial stability. The IMF further emphasized on the need for structural reforms to boost our external competitiveness, promote private sector-led growth, and enhance labor supply and skills. Further to discussions, the IMF has welcomed our commitment and efforts to implementing structural reforms as well as a credible medium-term fiscal consolidation plan. Madam Speaker, the World Bank has also looked at the precarious situation the previous regime has left us and have recommended ways to implement this fiscal consolidation and economic revival. I can assure the House and the Honourable Member that the valuable suggestions of both the IMF and the World Bank are being considered in the context of the budget preparation and our overall determination to reconstruct our economy and our society.
Thank you. Yes. The third member for Pamplemousses and Triolet.
Madam Speaker, B398.
Madam Speaker, according to information obtained, I must say obtained so far, 20 contracts have been awarded by ministries and public bodies during the period from 2015 to 2024 to Verde Frontier Solutions Limited for a contractual value of 50.6 million rupees. Furthermore, Mobank Holdings Limited has awarded a contract of 17.9 million to a consortium comprising of Priscus Finance, Gibraltar Advisory, and Verde Frontier Solutions as transaction advisor for the disposal of its subsidiaries. With regards to Part A and B of the question, I'm tabling the corresponding contractual value of each contract and the procurement method used thereof. Information is being compiled. I intend to make a further statement on the entire Verde saga. This is now the subject of an ongoing inquiry, and I would therefore refrain from saying anything more, not to prejudice that inquiry.
Thank you. Yes, Mr. Lutni. Okay. Yeah. Honourable First Member for Port Louis North and Montaigne. Yes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. B399.
Madam Speaker, I'm informed by the Commissioner of Police that from November 2024 to the 2nd of May 2025, around 20 complaints have been received from the inhabitants of Cite La Cure with regards to illegal activities at night, which include loud music, illegal parking at the traffic center, amongst others. The local police attended to these complaints and effected site visits to the location mentioned in the complaints. The police has noted that the main complaints pertain to the playing of loud music, which cause inconveniences to the inhabitants. And the police have taken the following measures to curb this proliferation of illegal activities. I discussed with the Commissioner of Police. He decides on the operation of forces, but the SMF is being brought in to assist the police for the maintenance of law and order. Furthermore, joint crackdown operations are being carried out by day and night in the region by Personal Divisional Support Unit, Emergency Response Services, Police de l'Environnement, ADSU, and CID for the prevention of detection of offences. Optimum use of the 7 safe city cameras found in that region for monitoring the movement of suspicious persons and vehicles in the region are being done. Thirdly, the Crime Prevention Unit, in collaboration with the Brigade pour la Protection de la Famille and NGOs, are raising public awareness on the various scourges impacting on the community. The ongoing neighborhood watch has been enhanced to ensure better collaboration between the inhabitants and the police. Now, notwithstanding the complaints mentioned earlier, with respect to the region of Cite La Cure, I'm informed, again I had discussions with the Commissioner, I'm informed that with a view to preventing, because what happens is we hear all the time the police have gone there, patrols and all this, but the problem is continuing. We have to put a stop to it. So I'm informed that with a view to preventing the upsurge of substance abuse in this area, ADSU, again with the assistance of the SMF, has so far conducted 15 crackdown operations, resulting in the arrest of 13 suspects from the November 2024 to 2nd of May 2025. Madam Speaker, the police is taking all the necessary measures to ensure a peaceful environment in the region of Cite La Cure. They will be working in close collaboration with the inhabitants to address the problems they are facing. Furthermore, the police de l'environnement will be provided more resources to ensure a more effective service in the region to combat the problem of noise pollution.
Thank you. Yes. Honourable Second Member for Rivière des Anguilles, Souillac.
Thank you, Madam. Question B400, s'il vous plaît.
Madam Speaker, the House will surely recall that the former Prime Minister refused to answer questions relating to Mr. Sattar Haji Abdullah. He never answered any question. He was a protected man. Bush. I have decided to depart from that and to answer because it is a matter of national interest. And I thank the Honourable Member for the question. I presume that the Honourable Member is not only referring to parastatal bodies, but also to state-owned enterprises and entities involving public funds which have retained the services of Mr. Sattar Haji Abdullah for the period of 2015 to November 2024. Now, as regards to part A of the question, I'm informed that Mr. Sattar Haji Abdullah has not served as either the chairperson or a board member of any parastatal body over that period, that is 2015 to November 2024. However, he was appointed as chairperson of SBM Holdings from 11th of March 2020, and he only gave notice of his resignation after the famous this regime of Voyou lost the election in November 2024. Mr. Sattar Haji Abdullah also served as a member of committees of SBM Holdings Limited and the director of several subsidiaries of the SBM Group. Madam Speaker, accordingly, for the period 2020 to 2024, he was paid by SBM Holdings Limited an amount of 16.6 million rupees as fees for serving as chairperson and a committee member. 16.6. Look at all these young people. They're going to, I'm sure they're going to go through exams, they're going to work hard, but who will be paid that sum of money? 16.6 million. In addition to the 16.6 million, he was also paid an amount of 20.7 million rupees as fees as board and committee member by the subsidiaries of SBM Holdings Limited for the same period. Therefore, if you add the two, it's a total amount of 37.3 million rupees was paid to Mr. Sattar Haji Abdullah by the SBM Group over a period of a few years. 37.3 million? It's more than a scandal. Madam Speaker, concerning part B of the question, I'm informed that over the period 2015 to November 2024, Mrs. Sattar Haji Abdullah was appointed by Mobank Limited to provide insolvency services in respect of 13 companies, where payment for these services were made to Grant Thornton Advisory Services Limited. Now, this company, Mr. Sattar Haji Abdullah, is himself a senior director. So a clear case, couldn't be clearer, of conflict of interest and possibly, surely, malpractice. This is the case of the right hand giving to the left hand, and nobody is saying anything. This matter, Madam Speaker, will be referred to the relevant authorities for investigation. Madam Speaker, Mr. Sattar Haji Abdullah received the following: a total of 10.9 million rupees as receiver, that is, apart from the other things I mentioned, 10.9 million rupees as receiver in respect of 7 companies, 600,000 rupees as joint receiver in respect of 3 companies, 6 million rupees as liquidator in respect of 1 company, 2.3 million rupees as joint liquidator in respect of 1 company, and 1.9 million rupees as administrator in respect of 1 company. The House may wish to note that Mr. Sattar Haji Abdullah has also acted as joint administrator for Air Mauritius Limited over the period of from April 2020 to September 2021, for which an amount of 141 million rupees has been paid to And these were the people who said I had bought an airplane. I was ready to leave the country. Look what they were doing. Now, and I say again, the Grant Thornton Advisory Services, Mr. Abdullah was the director. Furthermore, over the period of April 2020 to October 2021, he acted as administrator for Airmate Limited, which is a subsidiary of Airport Holdings Limited, for which an amount of 5 million rupees were paid to the same Grant Thornton Advisory Limited. Madam Speaker, the House may also wish to note that in April 2017, following up with the setting up by the then government of a commission of inquiry on the disposal of shares of BAI, Company Mauritius, and the related entities in Britam Holdings Limited, Kenya, Mr. Sata Haji Abdullah was appointed as assessor in the commission, and he was paid 2.2 million rupees for his services. Again, this is all adding up. Furthermore, a total of 79.6 million rupees has been paid by parastatal bodies, state-owned enterprises involving public funds again to Grant Thornton Advisory Services and Grant Thornton Limited for the provision of consultancy and other services, of which 28 million has been paid by the SBM Group. Who was this minister who said his computer had in a class? It's the same. When we compute all these figures, that is between 2015 to 2024, an astronomical figure of 287.2 million rupees was paid to Mr. Sata Haji Abdullah and entities where he has a direct interest. This is, Madam Speaker, everybody is loud. Alibaba est un voleur. Non, il y a d'autres voleurs. This is an indication, Madam Speaker, of the sort of incestuous relationship that existed between some individuals and those who were in power under the previous regime. I must state that the information which I am providing in the House today are not exhaustive yet. We are still looking. A thorough exercise is being undertaken on the ramification of his personal actions as well as that of his firms, including the real possibility of conflict of interest, malpractices. I will say no more.
Thank you. Yes.
Madam Speaker, thank you. After hearing the Honourable Prime Minister, I can say that there is no better word than asset stripper to describe what has been done. Can the Honourable Minister inform the House whether the Honourable Prime Minister inform the House whether there will be a forensic analysis about all these dealings and whether there will be commission d'enquête là-dessus? Merci.
There will be no get out of free card from jail. There will not be. We will be doing all this. We have a responsibility as a government. We said we would and we will. We intend to hunt this. I don't want to use other words, but we have to do this. We have an obligation towards the country, towards this new generation, that such people do not strip Mauritius of all the money that people have.
Next supplementary.
Can we go further and try to make an inquiry about the asset of that person, how much he has acquired over the last 10 years? Personal assets.
All this will be done by the investigation.
Yes, c'est normal. Yes, Honourable Third Member for Bobassin. May I be allowed to call members? Yes, Honourable Third Member for Bobassin.
400, Madame.
Madam Speaker, the House may recall that it was under my Prime Ministership that in August of 2000, the Independent Broadcasting Authority Act was enacted to make provision for the liberalization of the audiovisual sector. Hence, private radios became a reality. The Independent Broadcasting Authority Act therefore already caters for the liberalization of the audiovisual sector in Mauritius. In fact, the first schedule of the IBA Act relating to licenses provides inter alia for private commercial free-to-air medium-wave radio broadcasting license, private commercial free-to-air FM radio broadcasting license, as well as private commercial television broadcasting license, which are all regulated under the, I think, Section 19 of the IBA Act. Therefore, Madam Speaker, the question of amending the IBA Act in order to cater for liberalization of the audiovisual sector does not arise, it's already there. Madam Speaker, I wish to apprise the House that during the period 14th of November 2013 to the 25th of January 2014, the IBA received 4 applications from local and international companies for a private television license. In this connection, the then IBA board had decided the applications for private television license to broadcast films, sports, and entertainment programs would be invited through an expression of interest from all interested parties. However, and not surprisingly, no such expression of interest has been issued by the IBA during the last 10 years. None. Madam Speaker, I wish to point out that the IBA Act was amended in 2019 to provide for time for the limit of foreign shareholding in a company applying for a license to be increased. It was 20% to be increased to 49.9%. However, despite this amendment, no application for a private television license has been received by the authority. Madam Speaker, as already announced in the government program 2025-2029, my government will stand by its commitment, and therefore arrangements will be made for the introduction of private television channels in order to promote pluralism in the audiovisual sector.
Yes? Supplementary?
Oui, j'ai bien compris la réponse de l'honorable Premier ministre, mais je voudrais qu'il nous confirme une chose. Depuis l'entrée en fonction du nouveau gouvernement et lui-même en tant que nouveau Premier ministre, est-ce qu'il peut confirmer qu'il n'y a pas eu aucune demande pour opérer une télévision privée, et parce qu'il y a certaines informations qui circulent à l'effet qu'il y a des demandes qui ont été déposées depuis l'entrée en fonction du nouveau gouvernement pour opérer une télévision privée?
I'm not aware that any demand has been made yet, but when we look at the whole picture, we're going to re-look at this. I'm sure there will be interest. At one point, I remember there was an interest when I was Prime Minister, after I passed the law, and then I don't know why I suppose I lost the election and nobody was prepared to give any money under the table.
Yes. That's it, Mr. Kiran? Yes? All right, the Honourable Second Member for Flac-Bon-Accueil, Mr. Bichou.
Madame la Présidente, B402, s'il vous plaît.
Madam Speaker, the Corporate Social Responsibility Framework was introduced in 2009 when profitable firms were required to either spend 2% of the profits on CSR activities approved by government or to transfer these funds to government to be used in the fight against poverty. I'm informed by the Mauritius Revenue Authority that during the last 5 financial years, that is from financial year 2019-2020 to the financial year 2023-2024, an amount of some 5.3 billion rupees has been collected as CSR contributions from companies. I'm further informed that in the current financial year, the MRA has at the end of March 2025 collected 917 million rupees as CSR contributions. In regards to Part A of the question, as from January 2019, a company may use up to 25% of its CSR contribution to implement a CSR program of finance and non-governmental organization implementing a CSR program in the priority areas of intervention. In both cases, it is the company that actually decides on the use of the funds. A company is therefore required to remit at least 75% of the CSR contribution to the MRA. Madam Speaker, over the past 5 years, the amount collected by the MRA has been remitted as follows. For the financial years 2019, 2020, and 2022 and 2023, the Accountant General for onward remittance to the National Social Inclusion Foundation is 5.3 billion rupees. As from financial year 2023-2024, an amount of 200 million to the Accountant General for onward remittance to the Poverty Reduction Fund and the remainder to the National Social Inclusion Foundation. Exceptionally, for financial 2024-2025, an amount of 1 billion rupees has been earmarked to be credited into the Consolidated Fund for onward remittance to Poverty Reduction Fund. Madam Speaker, regarding Part B of the question, I'm informed by the MRA that an amount of 1.4 billion rupees has been spent directly by the companies under the CSR scheme for from financial year 2019-2020 to the financial year 2023-2024. As regards to Part C of the question, I'm informed by the National Social Inclusion Foundation. During the last 5 financial years, it has disbursed an amount of 3.4 billion rupees to non-government organizations. And I'm further informed that in the current financial year, that is at the end of March 2025, it has disbursed an amount of 768 million rupees to non-governmental organizations. Madam Speaker, regarding Part D of the question, an amount of 200 million has been transferred to the Poverty Reduction Fund in the financial year 2023-2024, and an amount of 1.2 billion rupees has been earmarked to be transferred to the Poverty Reduction Fund in the financial year 2024-2025. Out of the 1.2 billion rupees, an amount of around 917 million has been transferred to the Poverty Reduction Fund to finance national social programs. As regards to Part E of the question, only 1 billion rupees will be redirected from the CSR contributions to the Consolidated Fund for onward remittance to the Poverty Reduction Fund.
C'est bon, Monsieur Bichuk, because time is already up anyway. That was for everybody to understand. We were having questions for the Prime Minister. Now time is up. The table has been advised that the following PQs under this on PMQT, PQ B406, B407, B408, B409, and B404 have been withdrawn. Now we proceed. Do you want to start, or shall we break at this stage? Okay, we can start. We break at 1, okay? I like it to be... J'aime avoir le consensus. Alors, so now we proceed with parliamentary questions. And I will call on Mr. Bijan, second member for Grand Bay Poudre d'Or.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. B412.
Madam Speaker, with regards to the region of Vale, I am informed that several traffic and road safety calming measures have been implemented along the Vale B12 road in response to reported recurring issues of vehicle over-speeding and fatal road accidents along that particular road. These measures include the installation of a speed camera system and the construction of a raised pedestrian speed table. To address on-street parking that obstructs traffic flow, thus causing a road safety issue and also hindering pedestrian movement, single and double yellow lines have been painted at various locations. Additionally, due to limited visibility of vehicles exiting Petit Raffray Road into Vale B12 Road, the installation of a traffic light system has been proposed at this junction. to ensure safer and more efficient turning movements. Furthermore, with a view to enhancing road safety along Sochi's B170 road, particularly for school children attending Vale Government School and the surrounding community, proposed measures include the installation of 40 km/h speed zones, together with the construction of raised speed tables. Madam Speaker, as regards the region of Cap Malheureux, double yellow lines have been implemented along Chemin Vert-Pied, Montchoisy Cap Malheureux B13 road, and several lateral roads to prevent on-street parking, to improve safety at road junctions, and to facilitate safer movements of pedestrians. Furthermore, based on road crash and fatal accident data obtained from the Internet Microcomputer Accident Analysis Package, also known as IMAP software, the installation of raised speed tables have been proposed near key locations, including Kaikari Pavillon, Arya Samaj Mandir, and near Sir Navin Ramgoolam Government School at Cap Malheureux. These measures, Madam Speaker, aim to reduce vehicular speeding and to ensure overall safety in these regions. Surveys will be conducted at specific locations to assess for additional traffic calming measures, such as pedestrian crossings, speed breakers, and designated speed zones, to address requests and complaints received from the authorities and the inhabitants. Madam Speaker, concerning the village of Grand Gobe, we have identified a black spot along Grand Gobe Coastal Road, B14, and same will be treated by means of the construction of a roundabout. I have to mention to the Honourable Member that this particular black spot formed part of the 8 black spots in the list of 46 which I intend to visit next week during the Road Safety Week. So I look forward to meeting you there. More so, surveys will be conducted at specific locations to assess the need for painting of single and double yellow lines and traffic calming measures such as pedestrian crossings, speed breakers, and designated speed zones, to address requests and complaints received from authorities and their inhabitants. Madam Speaker, I'm also informed that the TRMSU will carry out a comprehensive road safety inspection along all classified roads at Cap Malheureux and Grand Gobe, with a view to assessing the existing road infrastructure, identifying safety deficiencies, and recommending appropriate engineering measures for implementation. These will include improved traffic signage, safer pedestrian crossings, enhanced road markings, installation of guardrails and handrails, and traffic calming measures where pedestrian traffic is high, for instance, near schools and places of worship. As regards existing road markings and signage which have become faint or invisible or damaged, I have had discussions with my colleague, the Minister of Local Government, Mr. Uchit, and a request has been made for his ministry to work together with the TRMSU. Due to lack of painters there at the moment, the time for the unit to recruit painters, our same was not done over the last 10 years. Madam Speaker, the ultimate goal of these road safety inspection and subsequent interventions will be to improve the star ratings of the classified roads, thereby reducing the risk and severity of road crashes. The TRMSU will include all these measures in its work program, which will be implemented in its framework agreement contract 2025-2027. Thank you.
Yes, supplementary?
Yes. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Will the Honourable Minister confirm whether police will be deployed in this area to deter speeding, especially near schools and residential zones?
The police is under the Prime Minister's office, exactly. But what I can do is ask the Traffic Management and Road Safety Unit to write a letter requesting for same.
Yes. Okay. The Honourable First Member for Piton-Rivière-du-Rempart.
Merci Madame la Présidente. Question B 413.
Madam Speaker, according to the data obtained from the IMAP, which I described earlier, software, covering this period of 1st January 2015 to 31st April 2015, a total of 68 road traffic accidents were recorded along Mont-Piton, Rivière-du-Rempart, A6 road, between Piton, Gokula, L'Amitié, and Desjardins, comprising 15 fatal ones, 25 serious, and 28 less serious ones. Madam Speaker, with regard to Part A of the question, I am informed that refractive road studs, known as cat's eyes, were installed by the TRMSU, yes, to enhance nighttime visibility and to improve overall driving conditions for road users. Guardrails were also installed along several road stretches, especially at roadside open drains, embankments, and even uneven road surfaces, to minimize the risk of errant vehicles going off the road, thereby leading to road accidents and injuries. Furthermore, painting of multiple slow road markings were implemented by the TRMSU from Gokula to L'Amitié to deter high-speed vehicular speeding. In the region of L'Amitié, double yellow lines have been implemented at various locations along Montpitot, Rivière-du-Rempart, A6 Road, and several lateral roads to prevent on-street parking that obstruct traffic flow, to improve road safety at junctions, and to facilitate safe movement of pedestrians and on footpath. There exists a road hump with pedestrian crossing facility along A6 Road near L'Amitié Government School to enhance the safety of school children and local inhabitants. Madam Speaker, the House may wish to note that in accordance with the Road Traffic Regulation 2011, the prescribed limit along classified A road is 80 kilometers per hour. However, for that concerned stretch between Piton and Desjardins, there is an existing speed zone with a reduced posted speed limit of 60 kilometers per hour. To ensure that road users comply with the posted speed limit of 60 kilometers per hour along Montpitot, Rivière-du-Rempart, A6 Road, the Mauritius Police Force must conduct regular speed enforcement exercises in response to recurring issues of vehicle overspeeding and fatal road accidents. Madam Speaker, as regard to Part B of the question, the following additional preventive measures are being envisaged. The TRMSU will carry out a comprehensive road safety inspection along all classified roads at Piton, Gokula, L'Amitié, Desjardins, Bellevue, Morel, with a view to assessing the existing road infrastructure, identifying safety deficiencies, and recommending appropriate engineering measures for implementation. These will include improved traffic signage, safer pedestrian crossings, enhanced road markings, installation of guardrails and handrails, and traffic calming measures where pedestrian traffic is high, for instance, near the schools and places of worship like the Shivala of Gokula and near Anou Grandi Association at L'Amitié. The ultimate goal of these road safety inspections and subsequent interventions will be to improve the road safety star ratings of the classified roads, thereby reducing the risk and severity of road crashes. The TRMSU will include all these measures in its work program, like I mentioned earlier. Furthermore, the TRMSU will be carrying out surveys at specific locations to assess the need for painting of single double yellow lines and traffic calming measures such as pedestrian crossings, speed breakers, and designated speed zones with regards to requests and complaints received from the authorities and the inhabitants. As a last line, with a view to ensuring that road users comply with the posted speed of 60 kilometers per hour along Montpitot, Rivière-du-Rempart, A6 Road, it is also proposed that police conduct more frequent enforcement, like I mentioned earlier. The TRMSU will assist to the extent possible.
Yes.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Given that we have had 15 fatal accidents during these past 10 years, meaning at a rate of more than 1 fatal accident per year, and also I'm pretty sure you're aware that the rumbles that existed near to the Shivala of Gokula, where last week there was another fatal accident. The rumbles were removed a few years back. I just want the Honorable Minister to enlighten the House whether these measures that your ministry is planning will be implemented by the end of this year, given that the seriousness of the condition. Thank you.
Yes, certainly we'll try our level best, but I have to mention to the Honourable Member that next week during the Road Safety Week, more measures will be announced, not only in the region but around the island.
Thank you. Yes, Dr. Tanu, please. Last question for this morning, of course.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Question 414, please.
Madam Speaker, early childhood care and education lay the cornerstone for a child's lifelong journey of discovery, growth, and achievement. These early years are not just formative, they are transformative, shaping the minds and hearts of our youngest citizens while laying the foundation for literacy, numeracy, and personal development. Recognizing this vital stage, this government remains steadfast in its commitment to delivering inclusive, equitable, and high-quality early childhood education for all. With regard to the post of assistant teacher in pre-primary schools, I'm informed that in August 2023, approval of the then government was sought to the implementation of the granting formula for the pre-primary sector, whereby it was agreed that a new post of assistant teacher be created. The incumbents would be required to hold a Cambridge School Certificate or a General Certificate of Education. Assistant teachers play a vital role in pre-primary schools by providing individualized support to pupils who require tailored instruction and pastoral care. They help pupils to adapt to the pre-primary environment, assist them in feeding and hygiene. They also support teachers in activity planning, creating learning materials, help to supervise and maintain discipline both indoors and outdoors. Madam Speaker, my ministry is proposing to review the criteria, including the possibility of waiving the 5 credits requirement for candidates who already possess a recognized proficiency course from the Mauritius Institute of Education, particularly where such qualifications demonstrate the necessary competencies for effective early childhood education. Those who possess MIE proficiency course will not be penalized during selection process, especially those who have experience in the early childhood sector. I'm further informed that currently there are 267 assistant teachers in pre-primary schools at the ECCA. Those assistant teachers possess 5 credits, including mathematics, English, and French respectively, but do not possess proficiency course from the MIE. But they will have to follow the MIE Teacher's Certificate soon. In case the 5 credits requirements for assistant teachers will be waived, it will have an impact on the salary accordingly. It can be noted the MIE proficiency course is lower than the MIE Teacher's Certificate course. Consequently, the assistant teachers who do not possess 5 credits but possess a proficiency course should be graded as assistant teachers but will have a different salary scale. Madam Speaker, following les Assises de l'Éducation, which were held from 15 to 17 April 2025, proposals have been received for a comprehensive review of the education sector, which include also the free pre-primary scheme. These include recommendations for adapting recruitment requirements to better reflect the practical skills and a specialized training for the quality early childhood education. Thank you.
Yes, are you happy with this?
The Minister, to what extent will years of experience be taken into account with regards to planning for the future salary? Thank you.
Definitely. Their years of experience, definitely, in case they do not have.
In pre-primary.
In pre-primary, we're talking about the assistant teachers in that particular case.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. And I will now raise the sitting for 1.5 hours. We resume at 2:30.